Hi everyone, today we're going to explain the difference between many methods. The first is grammar translation method. This method frequently referred to as the traditional approach. This is justified by the audiolingual method oral performance in foreign language was not reached. The teacher role present as a guide to students into translating sentences and text, provide explanation of the grammar rules. A student role is to actively engage in translating sentences and text. An example could be put a song into the classroom with the aim to make a reflection of it, an exercise to complete phrases using verse of the song. It's a clear example. The direct method helps difference to the grammar translation method. Present information as a clear and direct manner without intermediates. The purpose of it is to present clear and direct information. The teacher will present this information as the last characteristics, and the teacher evaluates it to ensure. The student role is like a receiver because the responsibility is to listen attentively, take note, and the process of the information. More information about it is the data method emphasis of the transmission of the knowledge, and some materials could be textbooks, videos, presentation, audiolingual, visual, and more elements. An example could be using a realia with the purpose of the achieve the aims, and because using a realia at the time when talking about the countable and uncountable, things to give some examples to my student, and you can take in account the elements inside of your classroom. A audiolingual method. This method is when you emphasize on learning grammatical and phonological structure. This audiolingual method could be when I want to memorize the verbs in past and it's necessary make drills of pronunciation to memorize the sound, to repeat songs or phrases. The teacher role is as a protagonist of the class who directs into the makes the students participate. Student role focus. Student role is like during the learning process for the oral comprehension and articulation of the sounds. The students have to make criteria thoughts and phonological sounds because it's necessary to make acquire these sounds. Community language learning. It's an environment in which students work together to develop aspects of the language that they would like to improve. They are generally native speakers of the language that interest other members of the community. The teacher acts as a facilitator or language console. His main role includes creating a supportive and safe environment, also facilitates the conversation in the objective language by encouraging feedback. The students help collaboratively among themselves and also participate in the deceive and responsible way. An example could be in a speaking classes when try to make an oral comprehension. You have to make a dialogue where the students make the connection, the learning with the another learning. The difference of this method with the last method is the collaborative work because is the main factor of this method. Another is communicative language teaching. Is where the students work together to develop aspects of the language that they speak generally native speakers. The teacher acts as a facilitator, linguistic advisor, creates self-learning environments to facilitate a conversation. The students they are the center of the learning. They actively participate, they work collaboratively, in addition to having a great responsibility as the teacher. The difference between them, the community language learning and the community language teaching, is the first may the students take a more percentage of the responsibility, and the second, the teacher is the same with the students 5 to 5 percentage to the responsibility to get the main learnings. Uh, an example of this method could be in an interview to share my personal experiences making a critical thought, solving problems with our resources. Total physical response um, represents the biggest method because it's the common method that the trainer teacher use into the practices, because is when you put into the practice a role play, because in that method you want to make corporal movements, and the students actively participate into the movements and follow the solution the teacher says. The teacher provides clear and precise instruction and acts as a model physical and language action. It also evaluate the students' understand and adapt the real context. The next is natural approach. Is the language teaching proposal that incorporates the naturalistic principles identified on the acquisition of the second language. The teacher role is to facilitate and guide the learning, provide in a rich and incomprehensive environment of opportunities with the interaction. The students, they have an activity role, being responsible for their own learning and actively participating in oral communication. It does not focus on grammatical rules and use real context situation to teach the language. For example, it could be teaching days of the week using a calendar because it's a real material, which could be a best resource. For example, if you want to make a schedule of your trip, you can use a passport or some elements into the real context. A content-based instruction is when you emphasize the learning something about the language in a moderative or critical activity, challenges and authentic text that allows the creation of critical skills and thoughts. The teacher use of internet can be individual or group activities, and their form of evaluation could be different depending the project or the topic will be evaluating. The students act autonomously, becomes aware of their learning, interact with the teachers to improve their knowledge using specific strategies to achieve the goal. In that method, the difference with another method is to allow the students to develop abilities that they don't know in order to improve their communication skills in the language. An example could be make some steps to make any food. Any food is the best part following instruction and making connectors. This method I used it when I was into the secondary of Toluca, because this method is the best to make a step by step and make a best result of any process. And finally, lexical approach. This method is of teaching and analyzing language is based on the idea that language is made up of lexical units. The teacher, tasks, and the process are prioritized more than the exercise and the result. The teacher cannot be the director, but rather an advisor, leaving the role to the student to the fact of the language. The teacher acts an advisor because in that part, some activities could be dialogues where you can present dialogues in the real situation. situations which can be dramatized word search. You can select a certain number of words and compose a word search. The student role present like a person who has the discovered he must be willing to want to do the activity, is the responsible for his own learning. Autonomous work is the main characteristic. An example could be make a perform a play where conversation they're taking account elements of their context and their experiences. So with this this is my box to make the many elements into the subject of methods, the teaching methods. From my perspective, I consider this box like the most important way to recognize the different methods through autonomously work, because you want to improve your communicative skills through this method, and these methods you can use into the professional life as a main aspect to develop the best environment with the aim to make a best learning acquisition, and the students make a long process and make a long process of the retention and knowledge, because it's the main. To sum up, I the different methods. There are a lot of importance into the trained teachers as a strategies. Thanks for watching this video, and I want to be I hope that you understanding a lot of these main characteristics of these elements, and thank you so much.